Hello and welcome to today's session of Connect and Secure. I want to thank you for taking the time to join us today. And I hope from the title of today's session, it gives you an idea what the focus will be. The idea of combining connectivity and security into a single solution. I know that normally these are thought of as separate concepts, that you have a security function and you have a connectivity level, an access level, but why not? Why not bring the two of them together, reduce your cost, and simplify the operation of the network? The reason why we're looking at this is because we understand that networks are under pressure. And these pressures can be classified into three general categories, the first of which is operational. Operational issues such as you're dealing with multiple devices, different vendors, different management systems, and trying to do this on a day-to-day basis with a limited number of resources. You're also dealing with how people can connect to the network, Ethernet, Wi-Fi, remote access. How do I bring all of this together? Now, if you're like most people, you're being asked, the organization is asking you to do more with your network, support more strategic objectives, but at the same time, no additional resources. So this is an enormous pressure that's being put on the organization, being put onto the network itself. The second pressure that we find is a business focus. And this certainly has an impact on the operation, but for the moment we're talking about concepts, things that are being looked at that will eventually or could be implemented into the network. The first is about ubiquitous connectivity and providing that ubiquitous connectivity with security, the same level of security. How do you solve that problem? Part of that is how do I integrate wirelessly, or I should say, how do I integrate users who are connecting into the main network through a wireless connection, integrate them into the security fabric of the network. Now, wireless connectivity in an organization is nothing new. This has been going on for quite some time. The focus, however, is wireless. Its role is being reevaluated rather than a complementary function, something to use for guests who are visiting the organization or conference rooms or other areas where you might have a high concentration of users. Now, because of changes in the standard and significant increases in performance, wireless is being reevaluated as a primary connection method, changing the thinking that user equals one switch port. Now it's being evaluated that perhaps the best solution is to go ahead and deploy wireless, get a greater concentration of users into that area, more cost effective, and a better TCO, my total cost of ownership, in looking at a wireless connectivity scheme which will meet my throughput requirements. The third part of from the business perspective is the downside of something that gets a lot of attention, and that's bring your own device, BYOD. This idea that people bringing their own devices to the workplace, it certainly could be a PC, but in most cases it's either a tablet or a smartphone. Devices that are not able to support tools like anti-malware, antivirus, and so the likelihood of those devices having already been infected through their personal use are now being brought into the network and bypassing the network defenses that you've already set up. The third of these three pressures are what we call mandatory requirements. On one hand, it is something you're dealing with on a day-to-day basis. It's in the background. It's something that's always there. Optimization of your existing resources, cost-effectively managing your growth, trying to simplify the administration of the network. And depending upon your industry, there may be a component of regulatory compliance. All three of these are placing the organization under pressure. And if the organization is under pressure, certainly the network that the organization uses is feeling that pressure as well. That pressure results in what we call pain points appearing, and these can be classified into these five general categories: security, connectivity, performance, cost, and manageability. So if the network is experiencing this pressure resulting in these pain points, how do we deal with it? That's what Connect and Secure is designed to do, is to look at the network, understand the pressures that are coming in, understand the pain points that result from those pressures, and then provide a solution that alleviates that and combines the connectivity and the security into a single solution. Looking at that side of it, the connectivity and the security, we have 3 of the 6 pillars that make up Connect and Secure, complemented by the other 3 pillars of identification and authentication, policy, whether it be user or device-based, and then finally management. And looking at the 3 pillars, looking at the products that support these 3 pillars, the security, wired, and wireless access part of it is all centered around Fortinet's FortiGate. Now the FortiGate may already be something you're familiar with. It's a leading-edge network security device being able to handle multiple functions at the same time. But in addition to security, it has the capability to integrate wireless and wired access as well. Integrated switching, integrated wireless controller, allowing you to eliminate those other devices. Complementing the physical side of it, the FortiGate, is the FortiOS. And not only is it driving the FortiGate, it's also the implementation of how we handle identification and authentication. And from that, once we know who the user is, we can apply policy, granting or restricting access to different parts of the network. And then managing all of this is the FortiManager and the FortiAnalyzer. So coming back to the network, where the pain is resulting, by applying Connect and Secure into the network, we're able to alleviate that pain. And how do we do that? Well, quite simply, it's by making sure the right product is applied or implemented in the right part of the network. So at your smallest branch office, making sure that the product is there meeting both its security and its connectivity needs, as well as moving through the hierarchy of the different remote sites up to the larger branch offices. Again, different requirements, different products, but still meeting the same requirements, meeting the network security and the connectivity requirements. But having these branch offices equipped means nothing if there's not a corresponding solution at the central site where these connections are being terminated. And that's part of the genius of the solution, is the scalability of it, starting from the smallest branch office up to the largest central site, being able to provide the same level of connectivity, the same capability of network security, complemented by strong authentication and end-to-end network management. So if we look at the pillars in a little bit more detail, starting with network security, well, as I said, it's FortiGate. Whether it's the smallest branch office to the largest central site, a model of FortiGate with the same feature set is there to be installed, is there to handle the network security side of it. Now, those multiple security features in the FortiGate have to be kept current. And that's the role of FortiGuard, making sure that the protections, the different, whether it be antivirus or intrusion prevention, whatever it may be, making sure that those capabilities are as up to date as they can be. And the FortiGuard team makes sure that it is keeping pace with the evolution and change in the threat landscape that is attempting to enter into your network. But complementing the FortiGate is FortiOS. And if FortiGate can be considered the heart of a network security solution, then certainly FortiOS is its soul. It's the feature set, the rich capability of different features that can be turned on and off based on that particular site's requirements, but at the same time moving beyond features like antivirus or anti-malware or IPS, handling identification and authentication by itself or in conjunction with another system such as Active Directory or Radius, working with an external authentication system like FortiAuthenticator so that we can strengthen the capability that's already in the network. And then once those users are identified, being able to apply policy to them. making sure that we can identify them, whether it's by username, password, or by the type of device they're using, if it's a BYOD environment, and from that identification, apply the policy that's already been described for that particular user or group of users or types of users. So that's half of Connect and Secure, the secure aspect of it. Now the connectivity side of it. As FortiGate has evolved over the years, it's understood that the security aspect of the network has to be fully integrated into the core of the network infrastructure. And this has been a gradual progression with FortiGate, so that not only are more and more networking features been incorporated into the product, also capabilities such as an integrated Ethernet switch, an integrated wireless controller, so that your connectivity needs can be met at the FortiGate as well. Bringing in, depending upon the size of the site, different models have different capabilities. Should you need a greater Ethernet capability than what's in the FortiGate, that is complemented by the FortiSwitch that can provide different levels of Ethernet connectivity. The FortiSwitch is managed centrally by the FortiManager through the FortiGate. So we're bringing in different functionality, but without introducing management issues or blocking access into the network. Power over Ethernet is a standard feature in both the FortiGate and the FortiSwitch. So deployment of network-attached devices such as APs for wireless coverage or video cameras, whatever the case may be, is easily accomplished. Now, the wireless piece, I said in the beginning, one of the issues of wireless connectivity has been how do you integrate those users into the security fabric? Because in the wireless world, generally, the definition of security is different than it is in the Ethernet or wired world. Through the FortiGate's wireless controller, that difference between the two worlds is eliminated. A user, regardless of their access method, connecting into a FortiGate is brought into a standard security environment. And with that capability built into the FortiGate, either fully integrated in what we call the FortiWi-Fi for the smaller branch offices, or FortiGate in conjunction with FortiAPs, your access points to provide a larger coverage area for your wireless capability, all of that is concentrated back into the FortiGate. So you have a single access layer covered by a uniform security policy. Now the downside, the potential downside of integrating all of these functions into a single device is the impact that it has on performance. And that's one of the real advantages. Another one of the real advantages, I should say, of FortiGate is that it's been designed to do this from the ground up. From the day the FortiGate was first developed, it's been developed on the concept of high performance. And what gives us that high performance is our own in-house developed ASIC technology, FortiASICs. FortiASICs make up every FortiGate in the marketplace. Now, there are general processors as well. They have certain dedicated functions, but compute-intensive functionalities like network processing or content processing are offloaded to the FortiASICs to provide superior performance, superior latency. And we've extended that even further with the latest generation of the FortiASICs, the NP6, that we're now providing acceleration for wireless traffic. So not only are we offsetting any negative effects of consolidation of functionality, we're adding additional functionality, additional performance, and making sure the wirelessly connected users are benefiting from the power that's inside of the FortiGate. Performance, functionality, that generally equals superior cost. Well, you look at it, if a FortiGate can combine your connectivity and security requirements into a single device, you're automatically eliminating other devices. The traditional thinking has been branch office, I need a router, I need a switch, I need a firewall. Well, that thinking gets blown out of the water with the idea of connect and secure. We're eliminating those multiple devices with a single device that was going to be there anyway, the FortiGate. So right away we're reducing capital expenditure by eliminating those other devices. And if you're a large-scale distributed network, that savings ramps up very, very quickly. On the other side of the equation is the software licensing for the different features. Features are licensed on a per-site basis, not a network-wide basis. It makes no sense to require a license for everything if it's only being used, a specific function is only being used for one or two sites in the network. So again, we're focused on reducing the capital expenditure. And the renewal of those features reduces the operating cost as well. And then finally, as we're advocating bringing the wireless users, take advantage of the wireless capability in the FortiGate. We make sure we're not adding to the cost. There is no licensing cost for the wireless capability of the FortiGate. It's an integrated feature. The functionality is included in the base price of the FortiGate. So again, operating cost, capital expenditures, we're looking at both of them to drive down the total cost of ownership. Now the solution is based on multiple devices. You've seen FortiGate, FortiSwitch, FortiAPs, and even FortiAuthenticator and FortiTokens. Well, even though we have multiple devices, what we want is a single management capability. And that's what FortiManager provides. From a central location, FortiManager is capable of configuring and controlling every FortiGate in the network, making sure that any barriers between how users are connected, what that site is, how is it running, those are eliminated through this single pane of glass management. The companion product, FortiAnalyzer, is there to take the events and the alarms that happen in the network, consolidate them, and present a view that allows you to fully understand the state of the network, turning those alarms and events into something that's comprehensible and understandable to understand what is going on a daily basis. I've talked a lot about the different functionalities of the FortiGate, the FortiSwitch, and how they solve those different pain points in the network. And if I were to bring it together and wrap this up, there's really three things that I would look at as the strengths of the Connect and Secure solution. The first is the capability to understand the network in its individuality. And that means its individual sites, understanding that site A is different from site B, which yet again is different from site D, E, and F. So we have the capability of dealing with the individuality, but at the same time, we understand that those individual pieces have to be brought together into a common network. So the commonality aspect of the network is also addressed. And by looking at those two aspects, what we are doing is bringing the network together, the unity of the network. Understand the strength is in its unity, but at the same time, it's made up these individual components, individual parts of the network. I hope this has given you a different perspective, a new perspective on how to solve the problems you're dealing with in securing the network and providing connectivity in your users. I look forward in the future to talking to you again through a different webinar, but for the moment I want to thank you and wish you a good day. Thank you.